This week on Fight Recap, Figueiredo versus Perez.
Bah, bah, bah. Stay tuned.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Bro Down Podcast. I'm Andy Smith.
And I'm Tim Fulton.
And this is Fight Recap.
Bam.
Boom. UFC 252, I believe. Figueiredo versus Perez. Let's jump right into it. It's late.
Deiveson's versus... it is late. I can't even speak anymore.
Wow.
Alex Perez versus Deiveson.
Okay, so your thoughts on this very long fight?
So I had said this right before we came down to the studio that I was going to have a little bit of a controversial opinion. Deiveson cheated. I do not consider this a win for him.
Why?
Because he grabbed the fence twice. The first time, Mike Goddard literally knocked it away, which I thought was friggin' hysterical.
Yeah.
You giggled and I giggled on the inside at the same time. And then he immediately went back, grabbed it. Alex Perez had a beautiful single leg takedown, had the trip, but didn't get it because Deiveson was holding on to the cage.
If he was.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, I didn't see that.
100%. Rewatch the fight. It will not take you too long. If that trip actually went to fruition, we would have seen a much different match. Not that I'm saying Deiveson would have definitively lost the match. Obviously, we didn't have enough time to see it play out 100%. But I believe we were robbed of a legitimate fight. I am not happy, and I do not consider this a Deiveson win.
That's a really good point because it seems on, like when you say that, a fence grab, how could that lead? But it does if that led to a position.
And he immediately went back to it.
Yeah.
His hand was knocked away. He immediately went back to it. It wasn't even like there was a hesitation. He grabbed it right away.
I'm going to have to rewatch it to see if he did it intentionally to gain the position he got. Because there is a natural instinct when you're falling is to grab something. Now they're supposed to train not to do that. But if he reached up, grabbed it, and then...
I don't think so because Alex Perez was originally getting leverage with the single leg when he originally had the grab.
Yeah.
Mike Goddard swatted it away, but Perez still had the single leg and he had it high.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he was reacting to a sudden change in position.
So you're saying he did it on purpose?
100%. I believe he 100% did that.
I'm going to have to rewatch that.
And in my opinion, that wasn't like a oopsie, I accidentally eye poked someone or I made a mistake. That was an intentional cheating.
Yeah, which is interesting too because usually I think the rule is written that if you use the fence illegally, being grabbing it, and it either stops a takedown or it advances you in a position, they're supposed to reset it.
Yeah.
But if he did the takedown, he used it, but then Alex ended up on top, it would almost be like you were hurting Alex by resetting it before he got the choke.
Yeah, and I don't want to take away the choke because the choke was beautiful
and
it was amazingly well done. So you don't want to take that away from him. But at the same time, MMA math, like we've talked before, doesn't always make sense. So a half-second difference can change how the fight goes
100%.
out. And this was super competitive from the get-go. It didn't end that way, but it was super competitive from the get. I just would have liked to see it play out.
I didn't see that. That's interesting. I will say that the best sum up of this fight was by the commentators when they said Perez did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
He did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
It was just Figueiredo was that good to get the choke in.
Yeah.
And I don't know who's going to beat this guy. After what he did to Benavidez and then seeing how dangerous he is like that.
Yeah.
Not just with his hands, but also to pull out a submission when the guy's getting the takedown that early in the fight when they're fresh. And yeah, it's impressive.
It was an impressive win. I don't want to take too much away from him, but I'm a little salty about this one. I'm not going to lie.
If I would have saw that, I would have been probably saying they should have stopped it and reset him.
We're going to rewatch this when we get back.
Or at least a point.
Yeah, because it's going to take 2 seconds for you to see it.
Yeah.
I think you're going to agree with me on this one. Anyway, let's move along to Shevchenko versus Maia. Wow, what a good fight.
Interesting fight.
Yeah.
Very surprising.
Yeah.
How it ended up. So Shevchenko was the one that initiated the grappling.
Yeah.
Which is surprising.
It is.
And then the first round looks like it's going to be either Shevchenko just did that to kind of wear down a little bit.
Yeah.
But then the second round comes and Maia gets her on her back and totally the opposite happens. And I thought that Maia was more dominant in her top control than Shevchenko was in her top control.
I agree with you wholeheartedly on that one.
And then third round, Shevchenko started inching her, won the third round. Fourth round, a little bit more. But they weren't like crushing defeats. They were close rounds, but Shevchenko was getting the better of her.
Yes.
But then the fourth round came in, and Shevchenko really opened up. I don't know whether she was nervous about her gas tank because it had been such a long layoff. She had a surgery, and when she was in the fifth round, she could see the finish line. She was like, "All right, now's the time to empty the tank," because she definitely came out like menacing in the fifth. Like she almost looked mad or angry, whereas the rounds before that is cool, calm, and collected, not trying to waste energy. So I thought that she might be doing it because I know that she wants the Amanda Nunes fight. And she's such a crazy bitch that she might fucking be doing this heavy grappling style just to practice for Nunes with the grappling. Because she's confident enough on her feet, right? She's not going to she knows that she can outstrike girls on their feet.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, she basically with sparring, she's been fighting long enough with that, but I think the grappling, as crazy as it sounds, it might have had something to do with it that she wants the Amanda Nunes rematch. And this girl is built bigger, and she's a tough, strong girl. Like Amanda Nunes that was, I think, the only reason why Shevchenko is losing those fights with her is because Amanda's just bigger.
Yeah.
Like she's just a bigger version, not a bigger version of her, but she's just a bigger girl.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, Shevchenko and still.
And still, that's no joke.
Jennifer Maia, one of those weird situations where a loss improves your status.
Yeah, because she definitely held her own in that fight. And, like, she took a shit ton of damage, and she wore it like a fucking champ.
She didn't take a ton of damage as much as we thought until the fifth.
Yeah.
But crazy. The odds were minus 2,000 favor for Shevchenko, and after the second round, they dropped to 350.
350. Could you imagine? They were saying that some guy bet 12 grand. Could you imagine how much shit he was?
Oh yeah.
Like.
Oh yeah.
Bricks just. Everywhere.
Well, after the second round, I'm sure he was like sweating.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
all for $600.
He made $600.
Was it worth it?
I would argue he would say yes.
Well, right now, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right, moving on. We have Mike Perry first. Tim means business.
Yeah, Tim means business.
Beat it.
So Mike Perry's like the most interesting man in the world.
It's possible.
Dos Equis. He's got his 8-month pregnant girlfriend in his corner. Another corner guy where I'm assuming he has a camp now. But it's weird. Like Perry came out very grappling heavy in the first round. Looked really dominant. But then I don't know if it almost looked as if he was really tired.
Yeah.
But he had a bad weight cut, it seemed, and he was overweight by 4.5 pounds. So I don't know if his cardio wasn't up to date because of an injury or because maybe he wasn't taking it seriously. Or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the problem was, but I agree with you that something was up.
Yeah, but then like when he was fighting, he was very flat-footed. He wasn't moving like he normally does, and he really only opened up in like these little spurts. And it almost looked like he hadn't been sparring.
Yeah.
Because there was times there where they were standing like in Mike Perry's range, like his range, where he shines, and he didn't throw anything. Like multiple times where there was like they were standing right in range, and it was nothing was really going on, and they both kind of just omitted and separated.
Yeah.
Which was super strange to me. And then in the last 15 seconds, both of them opened up in classic Mike Perry mode. I think that if Perry would have done that earlier, because he hurt Means in the second round.
Yeah, he did.
It would have been different, but he just seems stuck. Like something wasn't firing for him.
Almost literally.
Yeah.
You're right. His arms were there just was nothing coming out for the longest time.
But he just wasn't throwing in situations. He just was standing there.
Yeah,
almost
that's what I mean.
Like paralysis by analysis. Like he didn't seem to know not what to do, but it was almost like he just couldn't figure out which strike to throw, so he just didn't throw anything.
Which is funny because originally when I started following this along with you, Mike Perry, you were telling me he was the guy who would just get into like fucking brawls with people, and he needed to like dial it in and actually get smart about it. And it's almost like he took that too far. Like,
yeah, and the thing is, you don't know. There's so many factors with him, right?
Yeah.
Like the no training camp, the no cornerman, and the fact that he's a wild guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know what. It was just very strange because I like the fact that he's calmed down and he takes things more methodical, but it was almost too methodical with this because Tim Means is a very technical striker, and he was allowing him to get off with the jab, and he didn't have any real head movement. He was just eating shots.
Letting him take the shots.
Yeah. And get the shot. And but yeah, very flat-footed. It almost looked like he had an injury, like a knee injury or something. But,
who knows? For all of you out there, we do go a little bit more in depth with weight cutting issues. That video will be coming out Thursday at 9 a.m. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell notification so you can make sure that you do get that video as well. But we're going to be moving on in the meantime to the last fight we want to talk about tonight. I can't pronounce names. You go ahead.
Shogun Rua versus Paul Craig.
I would never in a million. Shogun, I would have got Rua.
It's Portuguese, so the R is an H.
Oh.
Yeah. If anything Portuguese, just pronounce the R's as H's.
This is what I thought a Portuguese was.
Portuguese.
From Family Guy.
So Shogun is a fucking legend. Former UFC champ. Former Pride Grand Prix champion. And he's in the Hall of Fame. Him and Paul Craig fought 2 fights ago for Shogun to a draw. And this was kind of sad to watch for me because I've been watching Shogun fight since the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And to see like a guy throughout his whole career, like if you just come into the sport and you're watching Shogun now, you're like, oh, old dog, long in the tooth, just not his night. But when you see how dominant he used to be over guys, and like how he used to throw strikes and everything, to how he performed tonight and tapping from strikes, like I don't know if he should continue.
And I know what you're saying, and I know that that's a difficult thing to say about someone that you like and respect in a sport. But at the same time, you can't keep going like the way you are. Yeah, you can't. Like his body doesn't look the same. He's had a gang of injuries, like every fighter does, every athlete does, and he can continue to do this and fight guys, but he's never going to go again for a title. Yeah, like it's just not there. Like his body clearly shows that age, along with injuries, and probably the way that he's training because of injuries and age. It's just his body's not there anymore, and he still has power. I mean, he still hit Craig a bunch, but the fact of like that's how the fight went, like the ferocity wasn't there. Yeah, like it almost seemed like watered down, and it wasn't. I don't want to see that. Like if a guy's in there and a guy's hungry and he's going after it and he's wants it and he's showing it, but it just I saw Shogun defeated, like his spirit defeated. And it's very rough to see. I don't want to see that anymore. And it's not a knock on Shogun. It's just, your brain might be there, but your body just ain't. It's not with it anymore. And it's a good win for Paul Craig over a fucking guy like Shogun. But Shogun doesn't have anything else to prove. I hope he's made enough money to where he doesn't have to worry about money anymore. But I don't want to see that again. Yeah, I agree with you there, bud.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he did the right thing, tapping to strikes, but
it wasn't gonna last too much longer anyway.
No, but you don't want to see like tapping to strikes is like.
I know
you don't ever want to see it because it means that the guy's he let himself get in such a bad position. And granted, it's partly because Paul Craig's a great fighter.
Yeah.
But when you're as experienced as Shogun is, it's like if you're getting in that position with the experience that you have and how skilled you are. Something's not working right. It's not coming together anymore. And it just might be time.
Yeah, it just
might be time to ride off into that sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Any last thoughts?
No. I'm going to just show you some old Shogun. Every time this happens, I feel the need to show old footage of the guy's fights to be like, no, he wasn't always like this. Like, this is what it used to be like. Like, you don't understand. Because it's almost like, if you don't know it, it's like you feel like, oh, this poor bastard, like, it's just beating up an old guy. It's like, oh, no, come on.
That's not what it is.
Just look at what he used to do. Yeah. So, also, that's the guy that John Jones won his title off of first.
Oh, really?
He's the one that had the title when John Jones beat him.
Yeah, the more you know.
Yeah, the more you know.
All right. Well, Andy's going to go show me old videos of Shogun. I'm going to go show videos of Deiveson cheating.
Yes.
And I think that about wraps us up. Don't forget that this week we are having a sale all week long at brodownpro.com, and it is our Black Friday sale. Apparently, Black Friday means from Monday to the following Monday. But
because we're crazy guys.
Because we're crazy.
Go to brodownpro.com. We have a whole bunch of cool gear, shirts, hoodies, mugs, drawstring bags, the whole shebang. Just go there and find out for yourselves. I'm Tim Fullen. That's Andy Smith. We will catch you guys next time.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all